Have you ever glanced at a map and thought, why isn't Canada just part of the United States? They share the world's longest undefended border, have similar cultures, and have stood together in global wars. So what set Canada on its own path? The answer is more complex than you might expect. This is the story of why Canada never became the 51st state. Let's rewind the cosmic clock back to the 18th century, a time of exploration and discovery, where the world was still vast and largely unknown. Imagine a vast continent, North America, stretching from the icy Arctic in the north to the tropical climes of the south, a land teeming with untapped resources and endless possibilities. It was a land of immense beauty and potential, with sprawling forests, majestic mountains, and rivers that seemed to flow forever. Europeans saw a chance for a new life, a fresh start away from the old world's constraints and conflicts. They began to arrive and establish colonies, each group bringing their own dreams, cultures, and ambitions. The British settled along the eastern coast, creating bustling towns and thriving ports, laying the groundwork for what would become a new nation. The French, on the other hand, ventured further north, driven by the fur trade and the promise of new territories. They established themselves in the St. Lawrence River Valley, a strategic location that offered access to the interior of the continent. They were also around the Great Lakes, a region rich in resources and vital for transportation and trade. These two powers, British and French, inevitably collided. They fought for control of this valuable territory, each side determined to expand their influence and secure their future. The result was a clash of empires, a series of conflicts that would shape the destiny of the continent. This struggle would shape the destiny of North America, leading to significant territorial changes and the birth of new nations. It would have consequences for centuries to come, influencing the political, cultural, and social landscape of the continent. The decisions made during this pivotal era would determine the fate of Canada, setting the stage for its future as a nation. Would it become part of the burgeoning United States, a new star in the constellation of states? Or would it chart its own course, forging a unique identity and path in the world? The stage was set and the future of North America hung in the balance.
Our story begins in the late 18th century. The American Revolution erupted in 1775, a year that would forever change the course of history. What began as a series of skirmishes soon escalated into a full-blown war for independence. It was like a bolt from the blue, a sudden and dramatic upheaval that caught many by surprise. Colonists in the 13 American colonies rose up against British rule. They yearned for independence, driven by a desire to create a nation where they could govern themselves and live free from tyranny. They were driven by ideals of liberty and self-determination, principles that were enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. This document became a symbol of their struggle and their unwavering commitment to freedom. This revolution sent shockwaves across the Atlantic, challenging the established order and inspiring other nations to consider their own paths to self-governance. It resonated throughout North America. The Canadians watched closely, observing the unfolding events with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. They were torn between loyalty to the British Crown and sympathy for their southern neighbours. The revolutionary fervour was contagious, but the risks were immense. Many remained loyal to Britain, valuing stability and fearing the chaos that might come with rebellion. They feared the uncertainty of revolution, the potential for violence, and the unknown future that lay ahead. The newly independent United States saw Canada as a natural extension of its revolutionary ideals. They believed the spirit of independence shouldn't stop at their own borders, and that Canadians too would embrace freedom from British rule. Confident in this vision, the Americans made a bold move. They launched an invasion of Quebec in 1775, hoping to rally support and bring Canada into the fold. But the campaign did not go as planned. Harsh winter conditions, disease, and strong resistance from British forces and Canadian militias led to a crushing defeat. Rather than joining the revolution, Canada remained loyal to Britain, reinforcing its colonial identity. This failed invasion marked a critical turning point. While the United States forged its path as a new republic, Canada would take a different road, one still tied to the British Crown.
The unresolved tensions between the United States and Britain following the American Revolution, especially issues like British interference with American trade, the impressment of American sailors, and conflicts on the western frontier eventually escalated into open conflict once again, leading to the War of 1812. The United States and Great Britain clashed once more. This time, Canada became a battleground. The War of 1812 was a defining moment in Canadian history. American forces invaded Canada. They aimed to capture territory. They thought it would force Britain to negotiate. But they underestimated the Canadian defenders. Canadians, both French and English-speaking, fought fiercely. They repelled the American advances. This war reinforced Canadian identity. Many saw themselves as distinct from the U.S. It also solidified British support, ensuring that Canada wouldn't be absorbed anytime soon. It also strengthened the role of Indigenous nations, as many of them played crucial roles in defending Canada. The war concluded in a stalemate with the Treaty of Ghent, but its effects were significant. The border was reaffirmed, Canadian resistance to American expansion intensified, and a distinct Canadian identity began to emerge. The prospect of joining the United States grew increasingly unrealistic.
The decades following the War of 1812 were a time of significant change. Canada evolved. It moved towards self-governance. In 1867, a momentous event occurred. Canada became a self-governing dominion within the British Empire. This was known as Confederation. Confederation was a pivotal step in Canada's journey. It marked a new era of political autonomy. Canada could now chart its own course. It could develop its own institutions. It could forge its own national identity. The United States continued to expand westward, but Canada remained resolute. It would not be absorbed into the American Republic. Canada was determined to create its own unique place in the world.
One key reason why Canada didn't join the United States was their divergent political systems. The United States embraced a republic. Power resided in elected representatives. Canada chose a different path. It became a constitutional monarchy. Canada's head of state is the British monarch. They are represented by a governor-general. This system reflects Canada's historical ties to Britain. It also reflects a desire for stability and continuity. These differing political structures reflected different values. The United States prized individual liberty. Canada emphasized peace, order, and good government. These fundamental differences contributed to their separate paths.
Beyond politics, culture played a significant role in shaping Canada's identity. Canada developed a unique cultural mosaic. It was influenced by its Indigenous heritage. It was also influenced by its French and British roots. This multicultural heritage set Canada apart from its southern neighbour. Canada embraced bilingualism. It embraced multiculturalism. The United States, on the other hand, developed a more homogeneous cultural identity. These cultural differences fostered a distinct sense of Canadianness. Canadians took pride in their heritage. They valued their differences from the United States. This contributed to a desire to maintain their own separate national identity.
So, why didn't Canada join the United States? It wasn't just one reason, it was a mix of history, war, political decisions, and cultural identity. Economics also played a role in Canada's decision to remain independent. The United States had a rapidly industrializing economy. Canada's economy was more closely tied to natural resources. Canada developed close economic ties with Great Britain. This reinforced its connection to the British Empire. It also provided a degree of economic stability. While the United States offered economic opportunities, Canada forged its own path. It leveraged its natural resources. It developed its own industries. It became a major player in the global economy.
Despite their different paths, Canada and the United States share a long and complex relationship. They are neighbours, allies, and trading partners. They have cooperated on countless issues. The border between Canada and the United States is the longest undefended border in the world. This speaks volumes about the level of trust and cooperation between the two nations. While Canada chose not to join the United States, it has forged its own unique path. It has become a prosperous, diverse, and influential nation on the world stage.
The story of why Canada didn't join the United States is a tale of two paths. It's a narrative that delves deep into the heart of North American history, exploring the divergent choices and circumstances that led to the formation of two distinct nations. While the United States pursued a path of revolution and rapid expansion, Canada took a more gradual approach, influenced by its own unique set of historical events and cultural dynamics. It's a story about the forces that bind and separate nations. Diplomatic negotiations, treaties, and the ever-present push and pull of political power played crucial roles. The decisions made in the halls of power, the agreements signed, and the borders drawn all contributed to the distinct identities that emerged. It's a story about the enduring power of history, culture, and identity. The cultural fabric of each nation, woven with threads of indigenous heritage, colonial influences, and immigrant contributions, created a rich tapestry that defined their paths. Key figures in history, from political leaders to everyday citizens, played pivotal roles in shaping the national narratives. As we look back on this history, we can appreciate the choices that shaped these two nations. Major events, from wars to peaceful negotiations, from economic booms to cultural renaissances, all left indelible marks on the landscapes and psyches of both countries. We can see how Canada forged its own path. The Confederation of Canada in 1867 marked a significant milestone, a moment when the country began to define itself independently from British colonial rule, yet distinct from its southern neighbor.
The story of Canada is a reminder that independence is not merely a political status. It is a continuous journey of self-definition, a process of embracing and celebrating the diverse elements that make up the national identity. It's a reflection of a nation's soul. The festivals, the landscapes, the symbols, all these elements come together to tell a story of a people united by shared values and aspirations. It's a testament to the enduring human spirit. The resilience, the creativity, and the determination of Canadians throughout history have shaped a nation that stands as a testament to what can be achieved when a people come together with a common purpose and vision. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the related video on your screen for more fascinating content. Explore our channel for even more exciting videos. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Globe Gazette for more incredible stories. Your support means everything to us. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.